Mr Agnew, Mrs McGuinness.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I'm very pleased that the rapporteur did allow for the fact that geography has to come into this. I mean, Mr Smith pointed out in Scotland, you've got the Highlands and Islands, long distances to take animals to any sort of a market, and that has got to be taken into account. About 20 years ago, there was draconian EU legislation upon abattoirs, and the effect of that in the United Kingdom was that we ended up with very few and very big abattoirs. That means that if you go along the line that the animals must go to the nearest abattoir, that is going to create a monopoly immediately. Because if you can only sell your animals to an abattoir, they can dictate the price, and that is going to take money out of rural areas big time. So I do hope that that is taken out. There's actually not a problem, really, at the moment, if the current law was enforced. And I'm looking at other welfare laws, battery cages, sow stalls. The EU's reputation and track record on enforcing law isn't very good. I think it's pointless to bring in yet more stringent laws when the real problem is that current law isn't being enforced. I'm also a bit worried about when the journey time starts. And when I used to load lorries, it took the driver and myself, and I'm talking about a big Arctic lorry that holds well over 400 sheep, we could not do that job in under an hour. And you have to take it slowly. Sometimes the animals are reluctant to get onto the lorry, particularly if they're full of food, and yet the legislation says they should be well fed and watered, etc., when they start the journey. Actually, that's the worst thing they should be, because they go into the rumination process as soon as they get on board. So you can be well over an hour loading, that's cutting into because they're sitting on the lorry, so presumably the journey starts when they're on the lorry, but that's got to be defined. But again, at the other end of the journey, it takes time to get them off. They're actually very, very reluctant to come off these lorries. We mustn't forget that these are valuable cargoes. It doesn't pay anybody to mistreat these animals so that they lose value. Nobody likes to see dead sheep being dragged off a lorry at an abattoir. It's embarrassing, and it's a dead loss. So please, let's enforce what there is and not make yet more. Thank you.